Some of the games you saw on Roblox are, well, good, but others, they're one update away from blowing up the whole platform. Today I'll show you the ones that are about to go big, but only if they play their cards right. By that I mean, well, if they don't die. And let's get to the point. We will be rating each game based on its potential and how obscure it is. Starting off with the GOAT, the game called Superstar Racers. It's a very nice platformer game that focuses on you being smart enough to press more than one key at a time, and it is quite hard. The thing with this game, however, is the level of polish. As it happens, for some reason, almost all of the greatest platformer games are simply raw looking. But this is pure! Why does it have any potential, you may ask? It's simple. Each level in the Superstar Races has a unique gimmick to it, be it a target to destroy, oxygen meter, and others that, in my opinion, make the game very diverse. I'm confident this game will have enormous potential, somewhere around 90% of the potential meter. This game, fortunately, is not that obscure. It deserves much more. But what deserves more players, however, is the next game called Project Remix. People praise this game left or right, and you know, I can't disagree. Project Remix is an insanely diverse fighting game, with genuinely all ways of killing people you could ever imagine. And there's so much in this game that this video would be 2 hours if I had to explain it all. Maps, voice lines, skins, actual characters with personalities, and so much more. But if it's a fighting game, you'll probably wonder what potential it has. What else could developers add? 2 words, more characters. Yep, not an entire storyline, not millions of new weapons, but more characters, as that adds to the game's branding and makes the game recognizable. A bit too recognizable. Anyway, Project Remix has amazing potential, sitting at around 95% of the potential meter and about 20% of the obscurity meter, as the game is actually quite popular amongst us, underrated game enjoyers. Next, however, we got a very short game, so let's just go through it. Nameless is a bite-sized Dark Souls-like game, with only one boss, and quite honestly not that much, but what sets this apart is the quality and how damn optimized it actually is. It is only a demo, and the developer has told us about the plans of doing a whole game out of this, so you can probably see why I'd place this game's potential around damn infinite. And this game is actually very obscure, having only around 5 players. Of course, we all know why, but still. Now, we have Exodo. Exodo has a special rating on this list, because have you ever seen this style anywhere? Regardless of your answer, that's cool, but I haven't, which makes this game very special. By itself, Exodo is an exploration game. Simple, fun for those who like it, and not too flashy. But this game is in the list to serve as an example of a potential for creativity and breaking the rules of many genres, with an obscurity rating of damn 80%, which means the game is heavily underrated, and it's just as underrated as the next game. Aye, strange winds be blowing, they be. I be hearing a tale of a place at the world's edge, where the sea howls like a beast, and the dead whisper in your ear. They call it at Odds End. Okay, let's drop the act now. This game is insanely good at using the old Roblox style. Like, you just feel the charm and the passion of the developers, and oh my god, I love that! But okay, in this game, you explore various islands, battle a variety of in-game factions, and basically live a pirate life. Potential meter goes well beyond infinite, because obviously the developers can add so many more storylines and so many more characters and islands to explore. But the obscurity meter is unfortunately in 90%, because just a handful of people know about this gem of a game. Almost like as the next game called the mall game. Now, seems like another retro slot, right? No! Guys, I do not mean to say that I like the retro style by itself, because most of the games use it to excuse horrible polishing or for that nostalgia effect. But in this list, at Odds End and the mall game are the games that genuinely utilize this style to make it count. Here we are a kid who's going to a mall with his mother. Everything is fine, but as we are a kid, we leave our mother to explore the mall. Then boom, scary horror happens. There's a monster! Yeah, but the main point I need to bring up is the polish of this game. And the game is fun, especially with up to 4 friends with you. This game fills up the potential meter by about 60% and the obscurity by 40%, as this game has quite a lot of players, but definitely not enough. We still have the games with a possibly infinite potential coming up, but there are a few special games I have to mention. Let's talk about Unusual Force. On the surface, yeah, it is a fighting game. You just hop in, pick a style, and beat down other players in fast-paced, flashy battles. And it does that part incredibly well. But here's where things get tricky. That's all it is right now. There's no real depth beyond PvP. Why did you even put it in the list about potential, you may say? Because the foundation of this game is rock solid. The fighting system, it's good enough to carry an entire story-based experience. Take something in the direction of Yakuza or Sleeping Dogs. A gritty narrative, gang rivalries, and maybe even character arcs. That would elevate your Unusual Unusual Force into a league of its own. Realistically, Unusual Force sits at about 90% of the potential meter. It's also a sleeper for sure, about 60% obscurity. Now we got a game that everybody talked about, and the name is Helmet. A game that I saw in my comments so many times that I started dreaming about it. And now that I finally played it, yeah, it's criminally underrated. This is, to put it simply, Ready or Not, but in Roblox. You and your squad tactically clear out enemy-filled buildings, one tense corner at a time. But the thing that really caught me off guard was the lore. There's a strange depth in here, especially with how it ties into the dummies versus noobs. That connection alone opens up a whole web of theories. The systems are very polished, the missions are fun, and the groundwork is already there for something much bigger. I'd say this game has infinite potential, and while it's not exactly obscure, because y'all wouldn't stop recommending it deserves the attention it's finally getting. But listen, we're about to hit the next level, because the next game is not just good, it's the kind of the game that could change everything. So let's do this. No Big Deal throws you into shady deals with your associates, where your voice and your composure are the only things keeping you alive for longer than 2 seconds. The goal of the game is to make the most money on the server, by any means necessary. Deals, ambushes, shootouts, nothing's off the table. But here's the kicker, this game's real power lies in its depth. If the developers actually manage to add new maps, new roles, and many other things, then this thing will blow up harder than my first ever video about games. So past me, you are in trouble. As for obscurity, it's sitting at around 20% of the meter. Also, shout out to this guy for the footage. I could not play the game normally. And listen, there is one game that everybody wants to see, so let's talk about Pilgrim. Pilgrim is massive. And I'm not exaggerating. This RPG has a world so big it might just outsize GTA 5 and a combat system that puts most Roblox games to shame. It's overflowing with features, honestly probably more than I have subscribers, and that's your cue to fix that, by the way. I've been spammed with recommendations for this game so much, but after finally diving in, I get it. I understand it now. In Pilgrim, this is just a fighting game. It's a full-blown RPG. Mining, foraging, exploration, great characters, it's all here, but you might ask me, if there's already this much content, what's left? The answer? Everything. With more biomes, new storylines, and entire regions just waiting to be added, this game's potential is limitless. The obscurity meter clocks at a respectable 10%. And let's change this scene. We're in an office now, and someone there is about to die because they're getting chased. Welcome to the delusional office. This game takes the Doors formula and flips it on its head with a fresh, new spin. The amount of content is insane, and they keep adding more. And there is lore. That's exactly why this game has so much untapped potential. Honestly, the developers could throw in a full story mode, and it would still fit, considering how deep this game is already. With multiple game modes, a massive variety of enemies, and an untapped well of lore, this game is sitting at a solid infinite % on the potential meter. Now, for obscurity, unfortunately, this game is sitting at a painful 80%. I have not seen anyone talking about it, and we need to change that. This next game is my go-to game for when I need something special, and the name of it is Hero of the Grand Soul. Long ago, in the forgotten reaches of the olden world, restless souls drifted through time, silent, unseen, forever yearning to be remembered. For ages, none answered their call, until you arrived. Alright, let's just drop jokes for a second. Because this game, it's absolutely insane. Hero of the Grand Soul isn't just another action RPG slapped onto Roblox. It's basically Dark Souls. We're talking multiple sprawling maps, a genuinely challenging combat system, and enough mechanics layered into it that you'll be still discovering new tricks even 10 hours in. And then there's the storyline. Yes, a real one. Completely original lore built from the ground up, and you can tell the developers are only scratching the surface of what this game could become. Do I even need to explain why this game lays an easy infinite % of the potential meter? Unfortunately, hardly anyone knows it exists. With an obscurity rating of 90%, Hero of the Grand Soul is criminally underrated, for real this time. Now we have the final game, the one that in my opinion goes well beyond the infinity, and the name of it is Expedition. You're probably thinking, great, another story game, right? But Expedition isn't just another story game, it's the best one, at least so far. The premise is simple, a graduate struggling to leave his old friend and his friends behind, but the execution, it's flawless. From the visuals to the mechanics to the emotional beats, Expedition delivers a polished, cinematic experience. Sure, the story isn't incredibly deep, yet it doesn't have to be. It's relatable, and that's what hits the hardest. We've all been there, saying goodbye when we didn't want to, wondering if things will ever feel the same, and that feeling is, horrible. This game dramatizes that, sure, but it captures the feeling perfectly. And what's wild is that this is just the prologue. There's no reason this game can't become the greatest story-driven game Roblox has ever seen. So there you have it. These are the games that with the right moves could become legends. But here's the truth. Potential doesn't mean anything if no one plays these games. And that's where you come in. The next iconic Roblox game, it's probably sitting in this list, waiting for attention, updates, and maybe you to be the first one to truly understand it. Because one day, people are going to ask, who played that before it blew up? And your answer, it was me. Now go find your favorite and make Roblox great again.